We're back, we're talking about websites. Part 2 of our marketing horror stories discussion on website projects and what can go wrong. And today I'm going to talk about, if you're wanting a new website for your company, what are the main components of that project that you need to make sure are in there to avoid becoming another horror story. All right, so websites that go wrong, it happens a lot. A recent example I can give you, we encountered a company and they actually have launched a new website, and the reasons why they did this are not really clear. But looking at the website they had previous to their current website, their previous website is actually quite a bit better, or was quite a bit better. On top of that, whoever they used to build this website, they did not execute industry best practices for implementing on-site SEO, search engine optimization. So not only in terms of the site itself, but also in terms of SEO, it really has been a big downgrade for the company. Let's talk about the components. That if you are thinking about a new website, you're probably doing that because you think, hey, if I get a new website, it's going to help our company grow. It's going to help us generate more leads. It's going to help people find us on search engines, so on and so forth. There's a reason why you're thinking about getting a new website that probably has some sort of business outcome in mind. And so there's components that really should be in that scope of work that you need to make sure that you're addressing with the agencies or the providers that you're talking to so that you get it right. So number one, the provider that you're going to work with has got to talk with you about strategy. You've got to establish why you want a new website. You can't get to the finish line if you don't know where the finish line is. And you can't get there quickly, and you can't get there effectively if you don't have the right finish line. Number two, your provider's got to be doing search engine optimization, SEO, and AEO, which is AI engine optimization, analysis and research. And therefore, getting that strategy right for your new website, or again, you're going to find that the results you get after your site's launched are not going to be what you want. Number three, you've got to be talking about user journey and site mapping. What are the pages and sections of the site going to look like? And what is the user journey that you want people to go through? And what is the final outcome that you want in order to be positive outcomes from your website? Number four, we get into site design. You need to be going through a site design process, and that needs to be really geared around UX and UI, which stands for user experience and user intuitive design. And then absolutely be, cognizant of the reality that a lot of people use websites on mobile devices like their phones, and all of that needs to be taken into account in the site project process. Next, we start to get into the technical stuff. The scope needs to include, what are your technical requirements? What are the functionality needs that your website needs to include in order to accomplish your goals? Another aspect of the scope that's very important is content development. We would absolutely recommend that a good agency would be doing the content development for you, obviously with strategic direction provided by you, and obviously with you reviewing it. But content development is very important. And just thinking that, hey, we can just use the same content we had before, or, oh, we'll get our people to write some content, it's just not a good plan. Another area to think about is multimedia. Stock images must be purchased. So as part of this process, you need to make sure that the provider you're working with is savvy enough to understand what images can be used, that having rights to those images is very important, and that ideally you should be using images that are your own images that are of your people. All right, obviously, your scope for a website project should include building the website. I mean, that's pretty obvious. But are they building the site in a way to be optimized for performance? That does make a difference to Google and other search engines in terms of how they rank your site for keyword rankings. We talked about SEO and AEO research and analysis earlier. Obviously, then at the end, implementation of that strategy and those keywords with industry best practices on the website is also critical and should be part of your scope. You need to make sure that QA, quality assurance, and a review process that's robust is a big part of that scope as well. so that there's not any surprises after the site launch. And then also that when you submit it to the search engines, it's going to rank for the keywords that you want. Another component that should be in your scope of work for a website project is training on the content management system and how to edit your site, so that if you want to be able to or responsible for editing your own website after it launches, that you're able to do that. And then lastly, how is support handled after site launch? We talked about this in the last episode a little bit, and that's also in our blog in more detail. We, along with a lot of other good agencies, provide ongoing support for usually a year from site launch. But if not, it's something that ongoing support should be talked about in the scope of a website project. So if you have any questions or comments, we'd love to hear from you. Follow us on our socials and be on the lookout for our next installment of our Marketing Agency Horror Stories videos and blogs coming soon.